vote to keep affirmative action. Affirmative action, policies, public policies, and initiatives that are designed to eliminate past and present discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. It seems that affirmative action is discussed almost daily and is one of the most controversial, contested issues with a racial overtone of current America. Advocates for affirmative action would argue that neither people of color nor women would gain access to the higher education and professional ranks that they have achieved in the past 40 years if it had not been for affirmative action. Opposers of affirmative action have a different outlook on it. They would argue that this is a tool of discrimination because it requires universities and employers to consider an applicant from a disadvantaged past based on irrelevant features such as the color of a person's skin or either the ethnic group. It is quite amazing that their argument of the objectors never once mentioned that who they were condemned as affirmative action as discriminatory. Objectors also failed to mention that over the past 246 years in these United States, which we call America, did not utilize the irrelevant features to discriminate against those who didn't look like them. Nor did they tell you for the past 200 years after the United States Constitution abolished the institute of slavery, Americans were put on the blindfold and allowed the systematic subtleties of slavery and the symptoms of slavery to continue in the form of laws and statutes. They will not tell you, nor do they want you to know, that minorities are not in favor for preferential treatment because they are lazy, remiss, or slothful. Far be it from the truth. Blacks came to the disadvantaged state for two reasons. Whites decided that the more irrelevant features was in fact a more relevant one, and whites mistreated them on that basis. In our judicial system, if one is violated in civil rights and statutory privileges of some, then compensation of damage is required and prorated to the damage done. Affirmative action and preferential treatment are not being given to blacks because they are black, but rather because of the gross mistreatment they inflicted upon blacks. History records show us that the first slave arrived in Jamestown in the colony of Virginia in 1619 and was forced to the institution of slavery. However, many believe that slavery had operated many years prior. As a result of rapid colony growth in America and the demand on plantation labor in the South, the slavery population increased rapidly between the years of between the late 1600s and 1700s. It established that the English and the European traders transported millions of Africans across the Atlantic as captives in one of the largest forced migrations in history. America was accepting slaves up and even to the signing of the Declaration of Independence of 1776, which declared all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator, which contains unalienated rights. That among those rights would be life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness or freedom. However, this was not inclusive in the black man. Furthermore, however ugly America's past may be, it's ours collectively. In the American judicial system, methods have been established that traditionally awards punitive damage of victims mistreated. Objectors may criticize the wisdom of this compensation, how it's meted out, but they cannot question the principle of the pursuit of the punitive damages, which enjoys a long tradition in our society. Even with a newly elected African American president, racism is still alive today. I'll leave you with a quote by W.E.B. Du Bois. Behind me and other worlds, there is even an unasked question. Unasked for some through the feeling of delicacies, by others through the difficulties of rightly framing it. How does it feel to be a problem? Leaving then the white world, I have stepped up within the veil, raising it that you may view it faintly, its depressed, deeper recessive, the meaning of religion, the passion of its human sorrow, and the struggles of its greater soul. With that, affirmative action, affirmative policies must stay if America is truly sorry for her radically deplorable offenses of this past. Vote to keep affirmative action.